Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've gone through the stack of notes you sent over, and it feels like we're really at a turning point in the process. We're moving past all that difficult work of unlearning.
Yeah, and jumping straight into the payoff, which is the active conscious creation part. Our mission today is to get our heads around the core of this final phase. The notes call it creating and rehearsing a new mind for your new future.
Hmm. It feels like a total shift in focus. We're going from, pruning the dead wood of the old self to actually building the new identity.
That shift is everything. You have to see it in context. All the earlier steps were basically demolition work.
Right. Breaking old habits, getting aware of the loops.
Exactly. Breaking emotional loops, pruning those, fear-based synaptic connections. That groundwork was crucial. But this phase, step 7, this is the architectural design. This is the construction.
So it's not just about self-reflection anymore.
Not at all. It's about consciously sprouting new neural connections. The new mind you designed becomes
hmm
the actual platform your future self operates from.
So the goal is to integrate everything using conscious attention, repetition, mental rehearsal to transform how you think, act, and this seems key, how you feel.
The whole package, you're moving from just observing yourself to actively inventing yourself.
Okay, let's unpack this. I love the central image the notes use, the garden.
The garden metaphor is perfect.
We've used metacognition, we've observed the old mind. Now, as you start to lose that programming, you're making space for something new to grow.
And that's where the daily intentional effort comes in. The gardening metaphor really captures it. Your daily practices, the meditation, the contemplation, that's the actual labor of tending the garden.
And the seeds.
The seeds are new knowledge, so the sources are clear on this. Learning new information, reading about people you admire.
Historical figures, people who embody what you want to be.
Exactly. That's you sowing the seeds. It's the intellectual raw material for the change.
Okay, so if that's the seed, what's the environment? The notes talk about your firm intention being the water and sunlight.
Precisely. Your intention and your conscious attention are the water and sunlight. But, and this is a fascinating point, emotion plays a huge role here.
We're fertilizing.
A miracle fertilizer, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about generating these elevated emotions like love, joy, gratitude, and feeling them before the thing has even happened.
Why is that so necessary? Is it just a manifestation trick, or is there something neurologically protective about it?
It's absolutely protective. When you rejoice in that future, you generate this powerful, coherent energy field. And that energy acts as a shield.
A shield for the new destiny.
Yes, for that vulnerable potential. It keeps the pests away.
And the pests are the old survival emotions. Fear, anger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, all those lower frequency emotions that were wired into the old you. If you try to create a loving future while you're still feeling guilty, you're just broadcasting a mixed signal.
So the elevated emotion stabilizes the new potential.
It's the shield. It allows it to grow strong enough to withstand that pull from the old self.
Okay, so once we have the right conditions, the intention, the elevated emotion, we need the blueprint. We're literally talking about changing the mind's hardware. What's the method for that?
The primary tool is contemplation, combined with writing it all down. You use the frontal lobe, your brain's CEO, basically, to design the new self
How?
by asking these big, open-ended questions. And when you really sit and thoughtfully answer them, you force your brain to fire in new ways. You're building new synaptic connections.
So the contemplation itself is installing the hardware.
Yes. And in doing so, you're starting to signal your genes to activate differently. You're literally updating your body's operating system.
It feels so precise. The notes break it down into 3 areas. Let's start with the first one, how you think. What kind of questions do you ask?
These are questions that force you to define your highest ideal. Things like, what is the greatest version of myself? Or, what new attitudes do I need to have?
You're defining the mental state you want to live in.
You're deciding what states of mind you want to fire and wire together until they're permanent.
Okay, that's the intellectual part. Then there's the physical expression, how you act. This is where it becomes real behavior.
Right. This is where you write the script for the new you.
Yeah.
You visualize it. How would this person walk? How would they speak? How would I handle a situation that used to trigger me?
So you're making the abstract idea of, say, being patient into a concrete, rehearsable script.
Exactly. And then the final piece, the emotional part, how you feel.
This is teaching the body how to feel the future now, right?
Yes. You have to teach the body what that future feels like. You ask, what would my energy be like if I were already this ideal? Or can I teach my body what it feels like to be truly free?
And by cycling through those 3, mind, body, and heart, You're creating the full integrated platform for that new person.
That's the blueprint.
So with the blueprint set, we move to rehearsal, building the muscle memory.
Right. And the goal is just relentless repetition, firing those new sequences of thought and emotion over and over
Mm-hmm.
until that new consciousness becomes routine.
Automatic, subconscious.
Yes. And this is where we have to get past the idea that only physical experience can change the brain. The data on this is just, it's so compelling.
The mind can't tell the difference.
It can't distinguish between a real physical event and a really focused, intense mental rehearsal.
The piano study is the perfect example of this.
An incredible proof of concept. They took a group, split them in two. One group physically practiced piano scales. The other group sat perfectly still.
They didn't move at all.
Not a muscle. And they just mentally rehearsed the exact same scales for the same amount of time.
And the results were, they were almost identical. Their brain scans showed that the focused thought literally became a neurological experience.
And the physical changes can happen too. Look at the finger exercise experiment. Subjects just mentally rehearsed strengthening one finger.
And their actual muscle strength increased.
Significantly, without ever lifting a finger. It proves that this daily rehearsal changes your brain and your body. You're laying down the biological map to the future before it even gets here.
But this brings up a huge point. How do we make sure it's effective, high-intensity training and not just, passive daydreaming?
That is the requirement. You have to reproduce the new state of mind and feeling every single day, and the change has to happen in the present moment. If you finish your rehearsal and get up feeling the same way you did when you sat down,
Nothing happened.
nothing has changed. The rule is, you cannot get up as the same person who sat down.
But the old self fights back. The notes talk about that internal chatter. The voice saying, I'm too tired, or this is silly, or trying to get you to just go watch the news.
Of course, you have to use your will to move past that.
Yeah.
But the key isn't to fight it. You just recognize it for what it is, old programming.
You just let it surface and bring yourself back.
Gently bring your body and mind back to the present moment. Relax and start again. That repetition, that intentional return to the new state, that's mastery.
And weirdly, the sign that you're reaching mastery is boredom.
Exactly. When the new way of being becomes familiar and automatic, the process might feel a little boring. That's a great sign. It means you're now unconsciously skilled. You've sealed those circuits into long-term memory. The new self is on autopilot. And this is where it all connects to your personal reality, your old personality, how you used to think, act, and feel created the life you have right now.
So to change your life, you have to become someone else.
Fundamentally.
Ah,
Because your current life is a perfect match for who you are currently being.
this reminds me of that story in the notes about the woman giving a lecture on change, but who was clearly still, very angry and frustrated.
Such a vivid example. She was brilliant, but she demands to know why her new reality hasn't shown up. She says, how come I'm not living in Santa Fe right now?
And the response she got was just, oh, he was so direct. It cut right past all the intellectual stuff.
That's right. The response was, the personality who is just talking to me is the personality who lives here in Los Angeles, demanding answers. The personality who is already happy in Santa Fe looks nothing like that. She is calm, centered, and patient.
The personality dictates the reality. It's that simple.
And that's why past efforts fail for so many people. It's the mixed signal problem.
Where the conscious mind and subconscious body are at war.
Exactly. The 5% of your conscious mind is fighting the 95% of your body mind that's still running on fear or guilt.
Yeah.
You're thinking, I am abundant, but you're feeling lack. The signal is scrambled.
So the new identity aligns the mind and body. The thoughts and feelings finally match.
And you establish yourself in that elevated state love, joy, gratitude. You're sending a clean, coherent signal. And that elevated energy becomes the raw ingredient you use to craft specific future events.
So you hold the image of what you want inside that elevated feeling.
You do. You transition from being an observer of your past to being the quantum observer of your future. You hold that vibrational blueprint with total clarity.
And then you let it go.
You let it go into the quantum field. This is literally collapsing a wave of probabilities into an event, into a particle, a physical manifestation. You're using your liberated energy to create a new experience.
And you have to surrender the how and the when.
Completely. You trust that it will come in a way that's totally unexpected, a way that leaves no doubt that it came from a higher order.
So let's talk about sustaining this practice. This isn't a one-and-done deal. It's about evolution.
To sustain it, you focus on 3 variables: frequency, intensity, and duration.
Okay. Frequency is just doing it often.
Right. The more you practice, the easier it gets. You're strengthening the circuits. Intensity is about how focused you are during the rehearsal. Better focus builds more robust circuits.
And duration is about immersion.
Yes. The longer you can linger in the thoughts and feelings of your new ideal, the more deeply you memorize that new state of being. You're physically conditioning the body to live in the future.
The notes suggest a sort of layered approach to this.
Right. It's really effective to focus on one specific aspect for, say, 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe you're working on overcoming anger. You focus on that, you notice the changes, and then you peel away that layer before you tackle the next thing.
The power of that focused attention is so clear in Cassie's story, which you included.
Her story is incredible. A corporate trainer suffers a massive stroke, severely damages her language center. Doctors say she'll never fully recover her ability to speak in front of groups.
And she just refused to accept that.
She applied extreme focused attention and repetition. She mentally rehearsed speaking to hundreds of people every single day.
Just in her mind.
Just in her mind. And over several months, she didn't just improve. She repaired her language center. Her brain physically changed. She regained her fluency. It's just a perfect real-world example of how this works. Repetition seals the circuits.
So this whole final step, it's really about making the leap from just thinking about the new self to actually being the new self.
That's the whole game.
It's reaching that full mind-body alignment where you can say, I am healthy or I am wealthy. And it's not an affirmation, it's just a statement of fact because you physically feel it.
And when you reach that new state of being, that confidence,
Yeah.
that's when you start to develop a communication with that invisible consciousness, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It starts to organize these unusual events that are tailored just for you.
And the creation comes in a way you couldn't have predicted.
Never. And that's how you know. There's no doubt left that you, as the conscious observer, brought it into being.
Okay, so we focused today on mastering this template for changing one aspect of the self, one layer at a time. But now that you, the listener, understand the mechanics, the planting, the rehearsal, the quantum leap, here's the final provocative thought for you. If the ultimate goal is to fully embody your new ideal, how do you move from this steady, month-by-month, layer-by-layer approach to the holistic, immediate, nonlinear transformation of the whole self? Keep diving, and we'll see you next time.